A group of volunteers was cleaning a field when they came across a strange creature on the ground. When they looked closer, they screamed as they realized what it was. A cleanup group was taken to a field to pick up trash and clean the area in preparation for a children's event. They assumed it would be like any other cleanup project they had done many times before. Usually, they went off without incident and finished quickly to move on to other projects. These volunteers had no idea that this particular cleanup project would be unlike any they had done before. What they would find just a few hours later would change their lives and touch their hearts in a way they could never have imagined. While picking up trash through patches of grass on the ground, one of the volunteers stopped in her tracks when she saw something unusual on the ground. It was pink and dirty. At first, she assumed it was a dirty, old, crumpled rag from a distance, but rags didn't look like that thing. So when she got closer, she realized it was some kind of animal. The animal looked almost lifeless and lay crumpled on the ground, barely moving. Unsure if she could approach it, the volunteer called for help from her colleagues and told them she had found something. When the others came over, they were as shocked as she was and screamed when they saw it. Upon close inspection, the poor animal looked so bad it was hard to tell if it was alive. It was small and appeared to be starving with no fur on its pink bruised skin. The creature lay defenseless on the ground, with its legs and tail tucked under its body, perhaps out of fear of predators or to keep warm. They couldn't even tell how long it had been there, but from the looks of it, the poor animal was slowly fading away, if not already dead. One of the volunteers bravely retrieved a pair of clean, new gloves from their supply stash, quickly put them on, and gently nudged the animal to see if it was alive. They nearly jumped out of their skin when they heard a soft cry from the animal. Thankfully, it was definitely alive, but from the looks of it, it might not have stayed that way if they hadn't done something quickly. They needed to get it to a vet right away. It had bare, reddened skin covered in sores, ticks, sunburn, and absolutely no fur. The skin looked mangy and was clearly very painful to the touch. They would have to carry it very carefully to cause as little pain as possible. The volunteers joined hands to pick up the animal and put it in their truck. They all felt very sorry for the little thing and hoped it would be okay, as 3 of them drove it to a nearby animal shelter. They placed the animal on a makeshift bed with blankets and tried to make it as comfortable as possible. The moment they brought it to the animal shelter, the staff were instantly puzzled. They had never seen such a small thing in such terrible condition. They immediately put it on the table and began examining it. The vet quickly administered medication to the animal, applied topical treatments for the skin condition, and then brought some food and water. The creature was so cold to the touch that they wrapped it in some clean towels to help it gain some warmth. According to the vet, it must have been abandoned for at least a few days. He also determined that the wrinkled-looking creature was actually a Chiweenie, a Chihuahua and Dachshund mix, which gave the dog its characteristic funny and cute appearance, although at that moment it was barely recognizable. The dog apparently had a very rare form of mange, a type of scabies caused by a specific species of mites. It's possible the dog's former owners didn't know what to do or didn't have the resources. Unfortunately, this led to the puppy being abandoned. The staff thanked the volunteers for their quick actions and kindness toward the dog. Many people would have been afraid even to touch the dog for fear that whatever it had on its skin could be contagious. The vet told them that using gloves had been a smart decision, and that if they hadn't brought the dog when they did, it would probably have died due to its condition or starvation. The staff fell in love with this dog as they continued to help it recover. He was an unusual-looking thing. He had giant rat-like ears, pink wrinkled skin like a sphinx cat, the biggest brown eyes you've ever seen, and a silly little smile. Despite all he had been through, the sweetness that radiated from this dog was enough to melt anyone's heart. A woman named Emily, who was one of the staff, grew particularly close to the dog. Emily had recently lost her dog Molly the previous summer and was still doing her best to come to terms with her loss. Somehow she could see the resilient spirit and light of Molly in this wrinkled, funny, adorable puppy. Meeting this new dog was like finding a light at the end of the tunnel, and interestingly enough, the dog loved Emily too. While he was sweet and friendly with the other caregivers, he was especially fond of Emily. They just clicked. Emily and the other staff at the shelter decided to name the puppy Dobby after the house elf from Harry Potter *, due to his similarly large ears and pink, wrinkled skin. Dobby was a delightful little dog. He was smart, curious, a bit mischievous, and a bit dramatic. All the characteristics of a wonderful dog. Although he wasn't fully recovered, Dobby was slowly regaining his strength. In just a couple of weeks, he was able to mingle with other puppies at the shelter. They were pleased to discover that he was also a social butterfly and made friends with many other dogs. Emily's bond with Dobby grew, and every time she came to work, he would perk up instantly and beg her to play with him. She gave him lots of treats, played with him, and even bought him toys. It was as if their souls recognized each other as the perfect friend. Every time Emily came to work, he was the happiest little thing. But when she left, Dobby would show how sad he was by whimpering. Emily couldn't resist those big ears and sweet eyes pleading with her to stay. It seemed that Dobby had chosen her, and now it was her turn to choose him too. Have you ever been chosen by an animal that then became your pet? Once Dobby was fully recovered, Emily decided she would do everything she could to make him happy, and she began working on the proper process to adopt him. Sure, her old dog Molly had passed away, but it seemed that fate had brought Dobby to help her heal and bring a little color back into her life. We met at a time in our lives when only genuine love and affection could heal us, Emily said. Dobby saved my life, and I think I made him a happy dog too. 6 months after Dobby was found, his transformation was nothing short of phenomenal. Long gone was the skinny, hairless animal that resembled the house elf from Harry Potter *. In his place was a happy, healthy dog with a constant silly grin on his face. All his fur had grown back, and the damage done to the tips of his ears had completely healed. Dobby was strong and fast. He loved to play with toys and meet other dogs. Every time they went for a walk, he would trot happily down the street, his once infected precious ears now flapping in the cutest way. It was clear that Dobby was living a great life with his new owner, Emily. Emily turned to social media to share the incredible story of how Dobby came into her life. So many people online were touched by the beautiful story. Somehow, this dog that seemed to have no hope was now so healthy and happy that he was almost unrecognizable. Dobby's transformation is very inspiring and is proof that simple kindness can make a difference for anyone, whether human or animal. We hope you enjoyed learning about Dobby and his unusual adventure. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can find more heartwarming stories like this one. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. See you in our next amazing story.